Hello. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and all the bots who are tuning in live, and hello to those who are watching the recorded replay on YouTube. I'm M. Lloyd. I'm an artist, and I create really bold, colorful, abstract art. Today I'm actually going to be doing something I've never done on stream, so I'm kind of excited about this. I'm going to actually sort of start designing a backpack. So yeah, basically I have a backpack that I sell on my website, which, you know what, I'm going to show you. And I'm actually going to make one of these. So I already have on my website the stained glass backpack, which contains like 5 different panels of artwork, and yeah, it's got like 3 storage compartments, and yeah, it's also made of this really nice material that's actually quite water resistant, and yeah, you can't really tear it. One of my friends actually owns this. He's been using it for years, and it actually seems to perform quite solidly. It's actually kind of impressive. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this one actually. But yeah, so in the previous streams I actually did some rather cool things as well. I should show some of that. What did I do? Let's have a look. So I made this in the last stream actually. I'm quite happy with it. This is actually a style I call stratum, and yeah, it's sort of inspired by like the layers of the earth. So I've got all these different really nice vibrant abstract kind of patterns and these weird sort of color schemes, and in the end I sort of decided to add a sort of blue sort of filter to it, which I think kind of evens it out and balances it. So I'm thinking of making that a desktop background so that people can download that, and that'll probably be a free background. I'm not sure yet, I'll figure that out. But yeah, let's see who we've got in the chat today. We got let's have a look. We got Maddox1 as usual. We got a heap of bots. It's good to see them. And we've got 88 Mimo. Ah, it's good to see you, dude. Thanks for tuning in. Very cool. Who've we got in the overlays? Let's have a look. Let's go to Purple Swirl. I think there's, yeah, there we go. I'm in the mood for a bit of purple actually. So today I'm going to be working on this. So for this one, in the backpack I have online, there's actually 5 different panels of artwork. But for this one, there's actually going to be just 3, and I'm going to have like 2 little block color accents. So I'll probably begin with the front main kind of panel. You're probably struggling to see this a bit. I might turn it down. There we go. But yeah, this is so there's sort of 3 artworks that'll comprise this backpack. I've got the front pocket, which will be this component here. I've got sort of the main body, which will sort of hide underneath the pocket. So with this particular main body bit, this little square here won't be seen. And then I've got like a bottom panel as well. So the bottom panel is the bottom of the backpack, so you don't tend to see that as much. But this here is actually the sides of the backpack. So that panel actually wraps around underneath like that. So I'll probably just focus on one of these panels today. So I'll probably focus on this one because it looks like the most fun, quite frankly. And I'm trying to figure out what kind of style I'm going to do. I was thinking of doing like my stained glass style again because I haven't really done that for a while. But at the same time, a part of me is just kind of excited to just do anything really. I'm kind of, yeah, that sounds like fun as well. So I've already created a bunch of canvases here, which are ready to go. So I've got my front pocket, main body, bottom and sides. For the rest of the backpack, I'll choose like a color that matches the main color that I'm using. So we'll see how that works. But let's go to the main body. That's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like doing that. So if I make it darker, then you'll be able to see it. There we go, cool. I'm thinking of reducing this overlay, but before I do, the way the manufacturers designed this template's pretty cool actually. So you'll notice that we've got this red line outside the edge there, so that basically just tells me the dimensions. So I used that pretty heavily when I was creating the actual canvas size. The black line is sort of the print area, so this is generally the area that you'll see. The green line represents things that, well, they call it the safe area, so anything that's within this sort of green area here is guaranteed to be seen, in a sense. And this grey area is what we call bleed area, so you want to have just a little bit in case, like when they manufacture the product, the print sort of goes just a little bit out or in. So that's kind of how we're going to do it. And so yeah, this whole central area is going to be a bit of bleed area as well, but you're not going to see anything here. So I'll probably put a bit of effort on the sides here. I won't make anything too complicated or interesting, but just enough so it looks kind of cool. I'll bring it up a bit. Let's bring up the exposure there. But so that this doesn't annoy the heck out of me, I'm going to turn the opacity down like that. And then we're going to add a new layer. So by what I saw earlier, I think I can have about 7 layers. Let's have a look. And oh no, I can have some more. That's pretty cool. Ooh, oh, the luxury of many layers. This is an older iPad, so I'm kind of, I always get surprised when it can do heaps of things. But yeah, that's cool. Let's get started. So I'm using Procreate 5.2, which is kind of fun. They've actually introduced a lot of cool new features. So for example, they've got this cool thing called stabilization. So when you're drawing, it kind of stabilizes your drawing a bit. So it's kind of funny. I feel like my drawing is just sped up enormously, because every time I draw a line and it wasn't quite right, I'd have to sort of do it like a couple of times. But now it feels like what I draw is exactly what I intend, because of that sort of machine helping me in a way. So I don't have to be good at what I do anymore. I just have the machine do it all for me. Very cool. It's a very good privilege. So let's do it. Let's create an artwork. And the hardest part of this is really, as always, trying to figure out where to begin. So if you know my art style, I tend to have a lot of thick lines and a lot of, so I'm actually trying to figure out what kind of shape line I want to begin with. And I'm, you know what, I won't do a stained glass style. I'll just, I'll just have some weird shapes and abstracts. Just sort of pep it in there. What I might do actually, I'm going to lower the opacity of this here, and I'm going to just sort of play around with some shapes here and some lines. So I'm trying to think of how I want to, I suppose, organize the composition of my sketch. Wow, I realize it's quite hard to see there, isn't it? Wow, it looks like I'm drawing in the dark now. Let's go like that. I might turn the brightness down. That could be it. Let's go like that. Maybe this will make it easier to see. Cool. So I'm just playing around with some general lines, general shapes, and the idea is that I'm kind of trying to figure out sort of just a general arrangement of things. And so I don't know if it will, and you know, I won't sort of too strictly adhere to these general lines that I'm drawing. And I promise this won't be another stratum piece. I've done a lot of those in the last couple of streams, and I kind of want to shift away from that just a little bit. But I'm thinking of having like some kind of maybe abstract blocks here, like that. And maybe some slime coming from the side. And I say slime, maybe not slime, but something organic. And then we can have sort of elements maybe popping out of it. That could work. And maybe inside this block we could have like a really cool doodle pattern that just adds some interest. You know what? I kind of like that. I probably won't have this block jutting out as much, because I'd like there to be something in the middle here. Not sure what yet. But some kind of focal point that maybe kind of bleeds over the top of things. I like that. We'll figure it out. Okay, so I'll mute this one even lower. Just like, no, you know, I'll just hide this one. And now let's begin drawing the actual sketch. So I haven't actually done too much artwork recently. I've wanted to, I definitely have, but I've been so busy. I've been about to move into a new place, so I'm doing a lot of really, I don't want to say boring because it's actually incredibly exciting. I'm really looking forward to it because I'm moving into a cool new area, and yeah, it's a bit more youthful than where I am now. And what I love about it is that it's sort of close to everything. So, like, if I right now I feel like I have to travel a fair bit to get to things like public transport or just things like the shops. You know, it takes a while to get anywhere. But now I'm sort of in this really cool place where basically, yeah, generally I'm going to be a lot closer to things. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. But I'm also in this weird place where I'm just, the only thing I feel like I'm doing is just financial stuff, like constantly sort of working out, oh, just things like mortgages and things like, boring adult stuff. Working out my my sort of services and stuff like that. You know, like electricity and water bills. But yeah, it's just something you got to do. And you know what? I'm the overall vibe is I'm super excited. I just can't wait to get moving in. It's going to be super cool. But I've recently also had to buy heaps of things. Like I've had to buy a lot. What? No, I first thing I bought was a washing machine, and so I thought I'd I thought I'd sort of experiment buying like a second hand one because I saw all the prices of like standard washing machines and they're all so expensive, you know. So I thought, well, I'm gonna cheap out here. I'm gonna go for some cheap thing from Vinnie's, and I'll just cross my fingers, pray to the washing machine gods that it's actually it actually works. It could very well blow up in my face, and then I'll have to dispose of this huge washing machine. Because I think it's about 10 years old. But you know, in the spirit of environmentalism, well, that's my excuse anyway. In the spirit of environmentalism, I'll see how we go. Very cool. You know what? I feel like I'm perhaps rushing these blocks for some reason. Sometimes I rush when I'm really excited about what I'm about to sketch. It's something about seeing the end product that always makes me rush, and I really should slow it down a bit. But yeah, nonetheless, I hope this is good as the last backpack I made. That's actually one of my favorite products because, like, when you see it in person, like seeing it on images online, just like anything, you don't really get an idea of just how vibrant and bold it is. But it's kind of funny when you see that backpack in real life. It really sticks out. It's kind of insane. It's such a like you have to be. I think it's one of the perhaps disadvantages of my products in a sense. Like you have to be a pretty. I don't know. I don't want to say flamboyant person, but like you have to be someone who's bold enough to take this really vibrant sort of eye magnet. Because that's what it is. Like it's so bold and so colorful, and there's so much like complexity to some of the artwork that yeah, it really does. People actually turn their heads and go, "Whoa, what's that?" And I'm proud of that. Actually, I'm quite proud of the fact that it has that effect on people. I used to have a smartphone case. I still do actually. That uses that has like the same sort of stained glass style that I had. And yeah, people would always be like, "Whoa, where'd you get that?" And it's always a nice feeling when you go, "Oh, I designed it." It's really cool. But one of the things that it's kind of funny because I don't make a huge amount of money or anything off my products, but the thing that I really love is this idea that there are people out there just wandering around with like one of my backpacks. And I love the idea of like maybe these backpacks or maybe these like smartphone cases, maybe they're out there. And basically they're just sitting in like a train somewhere. And all of a sudden that my art is out in public. There's something, it's hard to describe, but there is something really satisfying about having your art out in public. I think there's something more satisfying about that to me than there is actually about having your art in an art gallery, which is kind of weird because not to belittle that, not at all. There is a thrill of having something in an art gallery as well, but at the same time, I don't know. For me, the idea of having like my art just in normal everyday places and just sort of vibranting that's a new word, just like lightening the whole place up. That's just a cool thought. Okay. Yeah, I'm struggling with this bit for some reason. I wonder why. Maybe I should just, you know what? I'm just gonna erase this and just start from scratch. Get rid of that. Well, not from scratch. I'm going to keep all this bit because I'm quite happy with that. But I'm just going to get rid of this weird part that for some reason just doesn't... It's giving me the irrits. And it's going to continually annoy me as well if I don't... If I just sort of try to fix it but don't get anywhere. So that's what it looks like if it's flat. But no, it's too boring. Let's go like this. So this one goes a little bit outside the safe area, so you might be able to see that green line there. But at the same time, I'm not sure if this is really going to be the focus of the design, so I don't think it matters too much. If not, I could probably always just cheat and like liquefy it or something, warp it around so it kind of works. But yeah, we'll soon see. Okay. There we go. I might go for a bit of a smaller line here, just because I think this area requires just a little bit more finesse. There we go. Wonderful, cool. So I'm in the process of buying a mattress. that's like one of my missions for my big move, and I'm kind of shocked and appalled by just how expensive mattresses can get. I don't understand why there are mattresses out there that are like $9,000 when there are some mattresses that are like $500. Because you know, I'm the type of guy, I lie on them in the shops and like a normie, and basically I sit there wondering, why is this $9,500? And they give you some reason, like, I don't know, it's got some ultra flex foam material that's layered upon a aqueduct of like monk tears, but really I can't see the difference. It's so strange. I feel like it's changed my perspective on life. If people can charge $9,000 for a mattress, well, you know what? Maybe I should charge the fuck out of my products. I don't know. Maybe I'm sort of thinking too much about it. Maybe mattresses are not like art. Maybe I shouldn't draw this comparison. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get rid of this line here because I feel like that just doesn't quite work. Okay, how's that looking? It's interesting, I'll give it that. It's an interesting shape. Now I want to do something kind of organic on this side. So this is kind of going to be the, I don't know, sort of like a frame. I wasn't really expecting the backpack to go this way actually, but I'm kind of liking it. So I've kind of got this duality thing happening where I've got like your more harsh sort of cubic objects, and then you've kind of got your more organic kind of thing going on. I've got 3 viewers. So for that person who just tuned in, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm M. Lloyd. I'm an abstract artist. I make bold, colorful stuff. Today I'm actually making a backpack. So yeah, I haven't done a backpack in a long time. There's one on my website that I made, and which I'm quite proud of. But yeah, this is going to be a sequel, so to speak. So I'm kind of excited to do this. So now, what I might do, I might add a little bit of detail. I say detail, just a few lines. There we go. My goal is to always try and finish at least one panel every stream. I never accomplish it. Sometimes I do, actually. Sometimes I'm able to complete a whole artwork actually on stream, but I don't know. I feel like nowadays, lately, I've kind of been doing usually the outline in one stream and then like coloring in the next. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm slowing down. It's kind of funny because when I learned to draw, I learned to draw on my phone, and actually I still kind of do the majority of my artwork on my phone, my smartphone. And the reason is, like, when I'm on public transport, like, rather than just sitting there doing nothing, I can actually create something. So that's a really awesome thing. But yeah, basically, yeah, I find I don't draw on iPad a lot anymore. I usually do it just for streams, but so it's kind of something I do really look forward to doing these like weekly streams on Twitch. It's a bit of fun. There we go. So just quickly adding a few of these details. I might amp up the brush size a bit there. I just need a bit of detail. Yeah, it's already looking a bit better there. Oh, some of these lines are a bit rough, but I can always polish them off later. Yeah, I usually polish off my artworks. And when I say polish, that usually means just like removing any rough edges, or sometimes if I'm colouring in and maybe the colours don't quite reach the entire thing, I'll usually polish off my sketch after my stream is finished. Just so that when I make the product, I don't regret like having this thing printed with all these mistakes. That would be the worst. But eventually this product will wind up on my website with any luck, if it's good enough. Let's have a look. Ooh, I might need to go for a smaller brush on that one. In fact, what I might do, should I adjust this a bit? Or should I embrace its kind of really sort of cluttered kind of feeling here? Let's have a look. I'll try this. I think now I've given myself just a little bit more space to kind of, yeah, that looks a bit better. Ooh. So the weather has kind of been really temperamental here in Melbourne. Like one moment it's like just absolutely pissing down with rain. And then on days like today's been amazing. The sun's been out, like I've mowed the lawn and everything. And now I'm basically always parched. I'm always thirsty now. It's a weird thing. But yeah, it's been an interesting weather. They call it jacket on, jacket off weather, because in Melbourne, you'll be wearing your jacket and then like 10 minutes later, you'll basically be taking it off again. It's definitely a thing. There we go. So in regards to games I've been playing, I've sort of just been playing really sort of quick multiplayer games. I normally like those sort of single player storyline kind of things, but because my real life schedule has been so hectic lately, I've kind of only had time for sort of those quick kind of multiplayer things. So one game I'm stupidly addicted to at the moment is this game called Slither.io. It's a pretty old game now. It's on like iOS, and I think it's just a web browser game actually now. But yeah, it's this sort of game where you play against, like, I don't know, usually 300 different people, different snakes. So if you know the game Snake, like Like if you ever had a Nokia phone, you'll know what Snake is for sure. But if you've ever played Snake, imagine a multiplayer Snake. That's what it is, and I'm completely and utterly addicted to it. I always try to make really like controversial names that sort of are kind of edgy and weird. And there's a satisfaction of getting your edgy, controversial names up in the leaderboard. That's kind of my thing at the moment. Other than that, as usual, I've been playing Brawlhalla. I'm really addicted to that game. I kind of love it. I've been playing it for years, and I wouldn't say I'm like one of those pro players who like really kick people's ass and just like are just insanely godlike. I'm definitely not that. But I know I can hold my own. I can hold my own in that game. I'm pretty good. You'd hope so. I've played it for almost years now. It's ridiculous, but it's a really fun game. It's like Super Smash Brothers basically, but it's kind of got a more cartoony aesthetic, and it's got slightly different. Like the characters work in a slightly different way. So each character has like 2 weapons, and from there you tend to sort of. Yeah, but those weapons can be shared across different characters, which is kind of interesting. So you can kind of learn one character and then learn like 5 others in the same way. So it's interesting. It's a cool game. If you've never played it, I recommend it. But just know that I think like all fighting games, I might be wrong here. Feel free to correct me if you think this is complete bullshit. But I feel like with all fighting games, there's a little bit more of a toxic culture behind it. And I think it's just due to this sort of psychological nature of fighting games. You are literally being pitted against someone. What doesn't help is that Brawlhalla has all these taunts, and the taunts are pretty toxic themselves. But if you can see past that and you can move beyond that, there's actually a really great game there with some really awesome like game mechanics. That's just really addictive. It's one of those games where you can sort of just pick it up and you're having fun. Now I realized I sort of made this thing, but because I was just chattering away and I wasn't really paying attention, I sort of put it outside what they call the safe area. So that's what that means. So basically I have this template, and there we go. Let's go back there. So this template shows me what areas are going to be seen of the backpack. So if it's in this green line, it's definitely going to be seen. If it's not in the green line, it very well may be seen, but there's no guarantee. And generally anything that's in this grey area here, you might not be able to see that because there's a little bit, the exposure's not there. There you go. So anywhere in this grey bit or outside that, that's called your bleed area. So the bleed area is generally, there's pretty much a guarantee that here nothing is going to be seen, but this stuff could be seen, so you want to make it look pretty good. So I'm actually thinking maybe what I'll do, because I like these kind of weird hairy vine things. I'm thinking of moving, I might sort of move him down a bit. So I'm going to cheat. Here we go. I got so distracted. Sometimes I get distracted just talking to myself here, but what can you do? I'm going to move that over here like that. In fact, what I will do, I'll copy it. That's the 3-finger gesture down. I'll turn the brightness up so you can actually see what I'm doing. There we go. Yeah, so 3-finger swipe down allows you to copy and paste. So I've already copied it. I'm going to go paste. So now I've got that in a new layer as well. And I might move it, I might put it here actually. No, you know what, I'll stick to my guns. I'll put it right there. Then I'm going to erase the first one I did. I might do that a bit more accurately rather than just completely going gung-ho here and just destroying my entire sketch. But there we go, that looks a bit better. God, I need a drink. Lovely. That's water, by the way. It's not vodka. Some people have assumed that it's vodka, and I don't know why people have that impression of me. What is it about me that sounds like a guy who drinks just shitloads of vodka? But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is. You wouldn't know. You can't just take my word for it, I guess. We'll see how merry I get at the end of the stream. Ooh, okay. Why am I struggling to erase this? There we go. That's what I want to do. Let's get. Ooh. Ah, I'm losing my mind. Let's get rid of that. No, okay. It's been a while, peeps. I'm rusty at the old Procreate. It's funny. I could probably draw faster on my phone now than I can on my iPad. It's a strange thing, but which is definitely not the case for most people. But it's just where I've found myself drawing the most lately. In fact, actually, I might be able to show you. I wonder if I've got some here. Yeah, so some of the sketches I was making on the train yesterday. I was making this one. I think I showed this in the previous stream, but I'll show it again because I'm kind of proud of it. It's what I call a stained glass piece. So it's sort of inspired by those stained glass artworks that you see like in churches and things. So I like the sort of black lines that sort of fragment everything and keep it all separate. That's kind of a key style of mine. And I usually put that in a lot of my products as well that you can see on my website, mlloydartist.com. But I also made this one, which I'm quite proud of. This is actually that same stratum piece I sort of showed at the very beginning of the stream. But yeah, I kind of like it actually. It's got some really funky colors. I was experimenting with different color schemes here as well. So this is actually a different gradient that I applied to it that I'm quite proud of. And I might put that on an iPhone case. Not entirely sure, but definitely that's a thing. Let's get back to that backpack. Very cool. Let's go over here. Nice. Okay, cool. There we go. Right, okay, so let's get back into this organic part of the sketch. Let's bridge this line over here, like that. I might go for a thinner line there. Cool. And I'll probably thicken that line as it comes in a little bit. So I'm sort of growing these weird tentacle things out of the more organic part of the sketch. And then we'll see how it looks. I think I'm going to have to polish this up quite a bit. I sort of copy and pasted it and moved it earlier. So for those who've just joined, that's why it's looking a bit rough over here. I'm kind of warping it to a different area in a sense. Let's maybe curve this in more. That might help. Just hacking away here, trying to make it work. Okay. Cool. I might open this little tentacle up a bit there. Just on the end, it looked a little bit thin in comparison to everything else. And I'll definitely add some details to these little vine tentacles. That'll make it look a little bit more complete. Cool. Yeah, it's looking okay, I guess. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with it. I'll experiment with some different things maybe, but it's interesting. It's interesting shape. Okay, let's try. I'll polish this up a bit. I feel like what I really want to do, I want to put some like tubes. It's actually, this is somewhat inspired by an overlay I did like a couple of weeks back. So this thing. So I want to try and maybe incorporate a bit of this into the actual sketch, because I don't know, I feel like it could work. Let's add another one. And we'll actually lower the we'll lower this template backgrounds just so I can kind of see what I'm doing. I felt like that was getting just a little distracting actually. Cool. Let's get rid of some of these backgrounds, I think. I say backgrounds, let's get rid of some of these lines. There we go. Cool, so how does that look? I think what I want is for something to be here, sort of coming out of these, like these tubes. I think that would be kind of fun. I was actually thinking of just doing another stained glass artwork. I don't know. I want to challenge myself a bit more. Do something completely different. Just something that has no kind of, I don't know, form, or I suppose rules. I feel like a lot of the artwork I've done recently has so many rules to it that in a way it's kind of lacking that feeling of, I don't know, being a little bit more wild and uncontrolled. Okay, let's take a drink here. Cool. So what should we have coming out of these pipes? Pipes, tubes, what should I call them? Let's have a look. I might add another layer here just so I can sketch over the top with a bit more freedom. There we go. Awesome, and then we'll remove this background line here. Let's add some curvature to these tubes, like that. And I'll add just a little hole right in the middle there. Yeah, I'm kind of liking that. I feel like it kind of works. What I'm thinking of doing, I'm thinking of having like a sort of vine that kind of comes out of here, does a weird loop-de-loop, and then wraps around this thing. That might be a bit of fun. Or I could go like this and then have it go through there and then coming out again. That could be fun. I don't think I'll add too many tubes here. I might try, I'll add one more, but I won't add too many. I don't want that to be the entire focus of the sketch. Oop. There we go. So I've recently dropped the streaming schedule to sort of just one a week. And just because everything else is a little bit busy at the moment. But I think it's a good decision, because like it allows me to focus on things a bit more. Focus is not about saying yes to everything, it's about saying no. And sort of honing in on the things that matter the most. And so, yeah, with that in mind, I feel like as well, I think my sketches have actually maybe improved a little bit. I don't know. I hope that's true. But maybe not sketching as much. Perhaps maybe it makes me enjoy it more, I think. Or maybe I'm not like exhausting myself of too many ideas or anything. That could be it. Okay, let's have a look. You know what? I'm going to have a vine. I'm going to do that thing I thought I would do. I'm really not sure about this. I'm not sure if I quite like that bit, but we'll give it a shot. I won't judge it too quickly, but I feel like I just sort of just randomly started drawing that without really thinking, and I'd like to maybe just have a go of going without it. But you know what? I'll keep it there for now. I'll keep it there and I'll see if it works. But let's try, because I've also realized it's going a bit out of the safe zone. So that little drip bit, that I feel like this is the best part of that element, and it's kind of sort of falling a little bit outside of what would be visible. So I'm not entirely sure if I want to keep it. But what we'll do, we'll draw this thing, because I've been talking about it for hours and I think I just have to do it. I'm going to merge some of these layers though, and the reason I'm doing that is simply because after a while you add so many layers, they just, I don't know, you need to merge them every now and then just to help you manage things. Okay, so I've got to decide if I'm going to go like that, like so, go behind and then wrap around maybe. If I go like that, then I have to come around the other side here, and then, so I'm trying to think of the story of this little vine thing. How am I going to do it? I think, yeah, what I'll do, I'll have it go around like that, and then it'll come out over here like that. And then as it comes around again, it'll sort of tuck underneath here, and then it will kind of pop out like so. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So that's just a sort of rough mock, that one. So I'll just lower the opacity there. But now I'm going to draw the actual thing. Okay, let's do it. Awesome. Okay, let's cool. Might go for a slightly thinner line there. There we go. Actually, you know what? I'm going to draw this part first, because that's the most fun. I don't know why I find that sort of wrapping around part of the drawing more fun, but I do. So I'm going to do that. I've just lowered the opacity of the main drawing, just so I can kind of focus in on what I'm about to sketch. Otherwise it sort of becomes hard to see. And then I'm going to kind of tuck it. I might actually get rid of this line and do that again actually. Let's get rid of that. And I'll hide that one as well so I can see exactly what I'm doing. Let's go there. We'll tuck that under like so. And then it's going to come back around and then dip like this. I kind of like the fact that it's sort of changing thickness as it goes. It makes it feel a little bit more organic. Like a worm. And now I'm just tidying up some lines here. There we go. Cool. And so now I'll draw this line popping out like this. And I'll actually make sure that looks a bit better. Yeah, I kind of like that. And then I'm going to somehow connect this vine thing so that's pouring out of this tube. We'll make sure we get the right thickness. Ooh, I've got a hair on the screen. Sometimes when I have a hair on the screen, I always think it's like a line that I've drawn. I wonder if other people have that problem. Okay, let's go. It's another excuse to get a haircut. Let's go like this. I'm thinking of having it sort of twirl around a bit and then go back in. Like that. I might make it a little bit thicker. There we go. Yeah, it's going to twirl in, have a bit of flamboyance to it. And I'm going to just tidy up these lines a bit. Cool. Yeah, I kind of like that. Let's remove some of the parts of this sketch that will not be seen, like that. I'll do it there as well. And I want to add some kind of texture to this vine thing, because otherwise it's just a little bit boring. But the question is, how much of a texture do we add? So this is going to be one really weird looking backpack, I'll tell you that. Okay, and let's have a look. Let's bring up our template layer and make sure that everything I'm drawing is actually going to be seen. So there's always a bit of one of the biggest challenges of drawing backpacks, especially when you've got things like pockets and everything sort of obscuring certain elements of the sketch, is that even if you go slightly in, like I've actually gone into the bleed area here, this little corner here may not be visible, so I may have to fix that later on. And I do feel like this bit's going to be seen. I think I'm fairly safe there. So I know that everything in between this dotted green line is actually going to be witnessed and seen, but yeah, I'm working very hard to avoid the pocket, like completely avoid it. And I feel like I do feel like I need to do something here. This doesn't quite work. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you think I should keep this bit. But if not, I'll get rid of it. I'm going to add a layer on top. Is this the, yeah, that's the mock layer. I'll get rid of this one. So this mock layer, no, this layer on top I've just added, that's going to be for me to draw a little bit more detail on this vine, like that. There we go. Let's curve that in as well. So it's sort of got, I don't know what I call it, it's sort of like an under padding kind of thing. I don't really know if there's like a really cool biological name for this, but I'm fairly certain I've seen this on like animals before. Like if you look at the underneath of a snake, the underneath of it looks vastly different to what's on top. It's not as scaly, it's sort of more flat. That's kind of what I'm trying to go for here. Let's go like that. That'll be the top going in. Okay, cool. I think that's, yeah, the bottom will be hidden in this section here, but not quite here. Yeah, so that'll have a different kind of texture, I think. I might have some sort of thin lines or something. So I'm not worrying too much with some of with this sketch. I want to do it quickly. You know, I want to get back into the habit of making art quick, because I feel like I've taken so long on some of my sketches recently. I want to try and get back into this habit of making things quickly, because I feel like when you're watching back a stream, if you see artists just really meandering around like with just a single line or a single shape, maybe people enjoy that, I don't know, but I don't know, I want to see some action. Maybe I'm just that sort of, I don't know, social media kind of generation thing that wants immediate satisfaction. But that's kind of where I stand on the whole thing. I'm thinking with this, actually, I'm going to get rid of that, because I want this sort of under part of the tentacle to kind of sort of twist underneath like that. That to me feels a bit more natural. Yeah, I like that more. There we go. Cool. Right. So I feel like there needs to be something sort of coming underneath this tentacle thing. So I'm going to do that. But what? That is a big question. I'm going to hide the template a bit now so it's not too distracting. And I'm going to bring back the opacity of the main part of the sketch. Like that. Still undecided on this area here. I still don't know if I like it enough to actually keep it or get rid of it. But you know what? I think we're making good progress on this backpack. It's going to look super weird, but yeah. So for those who missed the beginning, this backpack is actually going to comprise of 3 different panels. So I've got the front pocket, and the bottom. So the part we're actually doing now is the sort of main body part. So you'll notice that the pocket there on the front is actually hiding, like this central area here that we're sort of avoiding. But also there's this bottom part, which we'll do probably in another stream. But that actually goes underneath. So it wraps around the side, goes underneath, and goes to the other side. And that's actually hidden by a sort of, I don't know what they call it. It's like a little pouch thing, a sort of see-through pouch. Oh, that. There we go. So basically, these side bits are actually going to be more important than the actual bottom itself. So yeah, this is kind of fun. Let's go over here. So I do think though, I probably pushed these block elements a little bit too far into the pouch area. If I'm smart, I should probably move it just a little bit. This is the hard part about designing products like this. Trying to make everything kind of visible. So if I move it like that, that could do the trick. There's a truth that I feel like this little sharp part of here is actually going to cut into the pocket a little bit, so it probably won't be visible. So what I might do, I might just have to, you know what, I'm just going to risk it. I'll erase it, I'll get rid of this part, and I'll de-emphasize, don't know if that's a word, but I'm going to de-emphasize this sort of weird shape, so just so it fits into the actual image a bit more. So I'm sort of cutting in a bit there, but that's all right. Awesome. Now let's add those details I added earlier. I see we've got Spinsy watching. So for those who don't know who Spinsy is, Spinsy is the gentleman who makes the music for the early part of the stream, so the bit before the stream actually starts. Those really ethereal sounds. So you can check him out. He's on Instagram, A Quiet Haunt. It's pretty cool. I really like it. He makes it out of sort of weird. I say weird. He makes it out of like guitar pedals and stuff, and it sounds really strange. His method, in my opinion, is just really cool. Let's have a look. What should I add over here? I might add something relatively simple. I'm going to add these kind of... I sort of did this in the other sketch, actually. I kind of call them pimples. Warts. And it led to a gross discussion about when I was a kid, and I had this sort of wart on my wrist here. And I, being the civilized and very distinguished gentleman that I am, I basically, went to a doctor and got that thing removed. But I had this friend in primary school, and basically, he just ripped it off with his teeth, which was really weird. And apparently that's not what you do, because you get like warts on your tongue. But no, he was all good about that. Didn't care at all. Is that the type of thing that real men do? Like real men rip off warts of their teeth. They just go all gung ho at it. I don't know. It's actually funny. This looks more like a tooth than it does like a wart, actually. Maybe if I add a bit more detail to it, it'll look alright. Okay, let's take a drink. Cool. I feel like they're a bit too big, actually. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to undo a lot of this. I like the idea, but I don't like the size. I think I'm going to add another layer at the top there. Well, I'm just going to use this current layer at the top, which doesn't have a lot of stuff on it, just to sort of ensure that I'm doing this in a non-destructive way. And then it should work okay. Yeah, I like that. I like that density a bit more. There's just a little bit too much of it before. Let's get rid of the main body there. So I imagine this warp sort of popping up from behind. Oh wow, I've got a bot. This is cool. Want to become famous by followers and viewers on bigfollowers.com. Let's get rid of that. Or delete message. There we go. Cool. I feel legitimate again. It's always good to get the bots. There we go. Let's bring... Do I want to have this one hidden, or do I want... Yeah, I might do what I did before. There we go. Something's not quite feeling right with these little wart things. Maybe if I add some details to it, it'll look a bit better. We'll find out. Yeah, I think that works. There we go. Cool. Right. I might remove a bit here, because otherwise those details aren't going to be seen. I might even see if I can... Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it looks a bit better. I like that. Still super unsure about these vine things. I feel like there's too many of them. They're just a little bit too dense. So you know what? I'm going to make the tough call and I'm going to erase it. I'm just going to get rid of that thing because it's just annoying me. I don't know. It doesn't feel right. I feel like if I get rid of it, I've opened up a lot of space where I can do something really impressive. What I do, well, that's anyone's guess. But yeah, it wasn't working. Even that I like. It's funny. Even that I like more than having those weird sort of hairy vine things. So let's go. I'm even thinking of like growing something out of it. That might be a bit of fun. Like adding a limb. There we go. This one's just going to be there for reference. Looks a bit like a duck. A duck neck sort of hanging off. I don't know if I like that. I don't think I'll have that there. But let's go. I'm sort of tempted to make it look a little bit like a hand, but not too much like a hand. Yeah, something like that. That's kind of interesting. Sort of like an alien limb. Just trying to figure out how I want it to attach. Do I want it to sort of go like that? I think I prefer that kind of look. That's really weird. It does need more detail. So I've been pretty much addicted to the show Succession. Nothing has changed since the last stream. I've been watching that relentlessly. And yeah, there's something really good about it. I wish I could describe why I like it so much. But I'm still sort of in this weird puzzled state because I'm not actually quite sure if it's a comedy or if it's like a serious drama, or maybe it's both. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but it just doesn't. I don't know. It's not the best show of all time. Definitely isn't. I feel like I heard one guy on YouTube say that, and they were like, "This is like the best show ever." And it's like, I don't think so. Maybe they weren't saying it like in all seriousness, but yeah, I don't know. There's something about it. I feel like the mood doesn't quite fit. Some of these sort of themes and the styles they've got just don't quite gel together. But nonetheless, I am enjoying it, and there is something about it that sort of just keeps you captivated. It feels a little bit like watching Game of Thrones. Like you kind of, because it's sort of about it's sort of based off the Rupert Murdoch family and the business around it. And so it's called Succession because I think you're always trying to guess who's going to be the successor. It's a little bit like Game of Thrones. So like when that was the thing, everyone was kind of trying to guess who was going to be the person who wound up on the throne. But yeah, with this, it's sort of like who's going to be, I suppose, who's going to own the business, basically. Who's going to be in charge of the corporation. I like that. I think that's kind of interesting. I don't know. I feel like this still feels like there's something missing behind here. Maybe if I put some flames or something. Some really hardcore flames. Like that. Is that a thing, do you reckon? Oh, I don't know. Looks a bit lame. Maybe I could just put like something just in the background. I'll do this in a different layout just in case it doesn't work. But we'll pop that behind there and we'll go like this. Try and get that perfect shape. Not sure if I really like it, but just experimenting for now. I think it'll make more sense when we have color in there. It'll certainly make more sense when I go like this. Let's actually join it up. I might once again hide this template because it really is quite distracting with all that text in the background. But that text sort of shows you kind of what the dimensions you should be using are and what these lines represent. So it's good that the manufacturers include that kind of stuff. But yeah, at the same time, like, it can get kind of lame. It'd be hard to see behind. There we go. I might add a few more lines, sort of like this. And I'm actually thinking of increasing the... No, I won't increase the thickness too much, actually. I'll go back down like that. Yeah, that'll do. And I'm thinking of having like something dripping off the hand. Like that. But I don't want to hide it too much because otherwise I lose the sense that it is indeed a hand. Maybe there should be something here that it's sort of reaching towards. It's like one of those controls. It's a control stick on a box. There we go. And it sort of opens the backpack. Don't think that's going to work, but maybe. I'll definitely get rid of this dumb control. There you go. That's a bit too cartoony for my liking. Let's get rid of that dot there, wherever that is. There we go. I think once I add color, this is going to look a lot better. So I'm going to add, because this particular part of the sketch here isn't the focal point, but I still want something on there. So I'm going to continue adding these sort of warp things just along the side. Maybe I'll have them a little bit more sporadic as they approach down, as they reach the bottom. There we go. So what we'll do now, we'll get rid of some of the lines that are going to be hidden by these lumps. I think I was calling them warts before. I should stick to my own terminology. Cool. Do I want this to be coming from behind? I think that looks good. And then we'll add some of those finer lines for some of the texture and just for the texture and the form. Make it maybe a little bit bigger there. Cool. So just matching up the size of my lines there. Awesome. So this will eventually become a backpack that I sell on my website. And so I currently sell a backpack on my website at the moment. It uses like a stained glass art style, which I'm quite the fan of. But I wanted to do something different because I was thinking of doing a stained glass artwork on stream, and I think I will. I'll continue to do it. I won't sort of park that sort of ambition just yet. But for this backpack, I want to do something something I've never done before. This is going to look really cool, I think. Especially when I add my sort of weird color palettes. Although actually, now that I think about it, with this backpack, I was actually thinking of just using one color. So I might experiment with that as well. We'll see what happens in a few moments. Okay. What I'm going to do, because I want to add some dots. There is something stupidly satisfying about adding dots. So even when I feel like the sketch doesn't need it, I do it anyway. There's something just stupidly therapeutic, especially when you've got these brushes which just do all the work for you. But let's see how that looks. Should I make it thinner? Yeah, maybe a bit thinner. There we go. You know what? I'm thinking I should have done these dots a bit smaller. Let's do it. Won't take long. Because I want the textures. I feel like if these little lines here are going to be so small, it feels a bit weird to have all these really big dots there. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Might make them a little less uniform though. So as I sort of go into this line here, I'm making the dots more close together. And the reason I'm doing that, I'm trying to sort of give the impression that this is actually a sort of roundish kind of shape. Cool, there we go. Yeah, I do like the dots actually. I'm going to keep them. Something just sort of satisfying about them. Oop. Let's do that properly. God, the concentration is real. Just to put some dots on a screen. There we go. I don't think I've concentrated on anything so much during this entire sketch. There we go. Cool. Yeah, I kind of like that. That looks all right. I hope that the fabric of this backpack is not too, what's the word for it? Too fine, because if not too, I hope that the strands or the threads aren't too thick actually, because if that happens, you sort of lose the resolution of the artwork a lot. But I'm using the exact same, the exact sort of dimensions that the manufacturer has actually recommended. So hopefully that means that it will work okay. Let's go back to Studio Pen here. And what I reckon I'll do, I'll merge a lot of these layers together. Very good. And I'll add another one. I sometimes wonder if I zoom out and zoom in too quickly, because if I do, then I worry that maybe some people might start feeling a bit sick watching my videos. If that is the case, you're welcome to let me know. I'm sure there's some kind of setting I can incorporate that makes it a bit more easier on the eyes. I don't know what it is, but I'll figure it out. Let's go like that. So I'm adding some kind of wraparound block here, just to add a bit more complexity to this background bit. And what I'll do, I'll add a few kind of, I like to call them stretch lines, some stretch lines. Although, actually no, it's too common to this, so I won't do that actually. I'll go like this. And this, I might have gone a bit too gung-ho there. Let's go like that. Not quite sure what I'm doing here actually. I'm just sort of doing anything. I kind of like that actually. Looks interesting. Let's go like this. So I'm trying to repeat this kind of weird form. Sort of like a stringy kind of, I don't know. A stringy kind of texture to this like wraparound shape. Yeah, that looks alright. That'll do. And I might just, should I leave it like that? I suppose I can always add things later on if I feel like it needs it. But I think what I'll do now, I'll head into a quick intermission so I can refill my glass of water or vodka. I'll let you decide. And yeah, then I'll begin colouring it in. And so if we can colour this in before the end of the stream, that means we've got one whole panel done, which is kind of exciting. So that's really cool. So yeah, let's get it done. I'm going to head to an intermission and I'll be back relatively shortly, probably about 5 minutes. But after that, we'll begin colouring it in, adding some depth, adding some colour, and just making it really pop out. So that's going to be a bit of fun, I think. See you very soon. Enjoy the music, enjoy the thing, the intermission, that's what it's called. And we shall continue soon. And we're back. Let's do it. So, yeah. So right now, for those who have just joined, I'm actually designing a backpack, and I'm working on the sort of front main body part of the sketch. So in the first half of this stream, I was building this thing. So I'm quite liking it. It's a really weird, abstract kind of shape. Looks kind of cool. Now it's time to color it in, give it a bit of vibrance, a bit of fun. It's kind of funny, as I say that, I realize that I probably need to extend this just down a little bit, just so that it goes right into the bleed area. So the bleed area is this front bit, so there's actually going to be a pocket right there. So what I'm drawing here, most of it won't be seen, but that's okay. Very cool. Let's pop that in. So if you're new to my channel, feel free to say hello, or feel free to lurk in the background, whatever works for you. All good. And if you miss any bits and you want to see an earlier part of the sketch, just know that yeah, everything I do gets recorded to YouTube as well, so you can actually see everything I do. Later on I'll show you how to access all that stuff, but it's basically just from my website. You should see a link on my channel somewhere, which is pretty cool. Cool, let's color this in. So I'm thinking I really want to do a nice vibrant green. I'm feeling green. I'm feeling a bit of green, a bit of purple, maybe a bit of pinks. Let's have a go. Let's see if they work. I want to do sort of a greenish part. I want these blocks to be kind of greenish. So I'm going to go, what I'll do first, I'll merge all of these outline layers together. And then I'm actually going to duplicate the entire project. And the reason I'm doing that is just in case I completely balls it up. That means basically I don't lose all my work. So I'm going to drag this right over there. That didn't work. Let's go reference. So we'll make the outline layer our reference layer. And now it will. But we copied it into the wrong layer, so let's go over here. There we go, that's a bit better. Now I want to have a sort of darker green, maybe a little bit tilted towards the blue here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a big color brush like that. And I'm just going to kind of color it in like that. Now the reason I'm doing that is just so I can kind of blur this in. So I'm going to alpha lock this color layer. I'm going to go to Gaussian or Gaussian blur. One day I'll figure out how that's pronounced. And I'll get my smudge tool and I'll just sort of manually smudge it in as well. Ooh, not too much. There we go. There we go. Lovely. So it's good just to add a little bit of gradient. Cool. And I'll definitely add a different color, I think, for the edge here to give it a bit more, I don't know, a bit more interest maybe. I'll add a slightly more yellowy kind of green, sort of to the tips of this image, like that. That's probably a little bit hard to see on the camera, so the exposure sometimes you don't see it as much as you'd like, but for what it's worth, I can see it. I promise you that color does exist. Cool. This is going to be one wild backpack. I'm looking forward to seeing it actually. Now I'm thinking of going for a sort of a light blue. Yeah, maybe a sky blue, but sort of desaturated and a little bit darker. I'm going to add a layer on top of that one. And rather than actually just using color drop, I'm probably just going to color this in one, just manually like that. Just because I don't want to keep going like this all the time, that annoys me. Sometimes it's quicker just to color in things the old-fashioned way, you know? So I'll do that. Cool. This reminds me of a drink that used to exist in the 90s. it probably still does exist. I don't know. It's called Oasis, and it was like this drink. It was like a collection of fruit drinks. They weren't alcoholic or anything. They were just sort of, I don't know, just fruit drinks. But they had all these really crazy flavors. I remember there was something really satisfying. I feel like they kind of tried to do a sort of collectible kind of thing, but with drinks. And as a kid, I remember them having these really vibrant, colorful kind of packaging as well. And for some reason, this is giving me very much some of those vibes. There we go. So I want something that's going to complement the green for this sort of viney snake thing. So what I'll do, I'm going to go to a pink, I think. A pink, I think. We'll add another layer as well. We'll drag these ones in. That'll be nice. And I'll probably go on sort of more a darker color for some texture, I think. But maybe pushed a little bit towards the red because I want to keep that sort of vibrancy there. Okay, let's see. So I haven't alpha locked this yet. I'll probably do that now. There we go. Might make the brush just a little bit smaller so I can do this a little bit more precisely. And then I'll go like that. And just a little bit on the edge there. Cool. So now I'm going to get my smudge tool. I'm just going to blur that in. This is my favorite part of sketching, actually. Just the blending of colors, smudging colors in, creating depth. There's just, if you've never done it before, I thoroughly suggest that you give it a shot. There's just something so stupidly satisfying about it. You don't need to have Procreate. You can do this on pretty much any drawing app. I think it's actually a good free drawing app actually called Krita, which a few people have been telling me about. And it sort of works on, I think, Mac and PC. So mind you though, it's probably, if you do have an iPad, there is something really nice about actually having a stylus. Actually being able to touch the pixels, I think that's kind of cool. But each to their own as well. Let's add another layer. I'm going to go like a purple color for this thing here. I'm going to color that in there as well. I'll get rid of this. We got a rogue splotch there. Can't have any rogue splotches when we're coloring. That's just not on. I wage war on rogue splotches. Okay, let's go switch on alpha lock. We'll add a bit of depth there as well. Once again, just grabbing a darker purple there for that depth. I might make this whole bit darker because it's sort of, it's going to have more shadow to it because it's sort of twisting underneath the actual whole vine. We'll go like that. And now let's blend all that in. I will do this. Cool. Now for the sort of blue edging there, I'm going to add some darker tones there. I might once again keep pushing it towards that sort of blue color. So I'm kind of going for a blue and green kind of feel for this block square thing. And I'm going to kind of just add this on the bottom part of the edge. And that there is just going to allow me to, I don't know, just give it a little bit of depth. I can actually use another layer as well to sort of define, I suppose, the different brightnesses of different angles of this edge. That's really hard to describe. Maybe I can do that later if I get some time. But we're approaching about 30 minutes left to the end of the stream, so I probably won't finish colouring this off before stream. That was my goal, to at least finish this part. But I don't know, I feel like I got a bit carried away with the outline there. Okay, there we go. So I just used a Gaussian blur, one day I'll pronounce it correctly, just to sort of blend that sort of darker color into the edge there. And now we're going to add some color to our sort of more organic elements of the sketch. So we got we got Ace 901. How you going, dude? It's good to see you, my friend. How's things with you? Yeah. Today, by the way, if you've just joined Ace, I'm making a backpack. So my backpack it's actually eventually going to look something like this, but it's going to have some really funky colors and really sort of strange, you know me. I'm going to put heaps of colors and really strange organic abstracts all over it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the end result. I think that's why I'm sort of speeding through it so much. But this here is actually going to be the main body. So you might be able to see the back behind the sketch now. But yeah, it's kind of cool. There's going to be a pocket right here, so that's why I've left the middle there intentionally blank. And the main part of this sort of panel is just the front there. So I'm doing some weird abstract stuff right there. But yeah, it's good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Let's add another. I might actually use this layer. I'll switch off alpha lock there. And I might go to a nice orange color. I'm feeling orange for this one. Ace says, "Oh, looks great. How are you?" I'm doing well, man. I'm doing really well. I've got a super hectic real life at the moment. So like I'm doing a lot of weird financial stuff and a lot of weird I'm actually moving to a new place. So there's a lot of excitement in my life right now. But yeah, I've sort of slowed down my streams a little bit. I used to do like 2 streams a week, but I'm just doing like 1 because I feel like there comes a point where you just have to accept the fact that you are human and you can't do everything all at once. You have to sort of slow things down and focus, and that's kind of what I'm doing. And it's feeling pretty good. I feel like I've got a good balance here. But yeah, that's pretty much a little bit of insight into my life. I've also returned to work, so Melbourne is outside of a lockdown now, which is fantastic. We can now resume things to some degree of normalcy, which is just great. There's still a few restrictions. Everyone's wearing masks and that kind of thing, but what can you do? That's great. Masks are cool. I'm not an anti-masker, I promise. And basically, yeah, it's great to have some sort of sense of normalcy in society. Normalcy in society. That's a weird thing to say. But yeah, things are looking good. Things are super well. I have no idea what color I'm gonna do this outside. I sort of did orange and yellow, but I'm starting to think maybe I should have pushed it more towards a red color. I'm not quite sure there, but I'll start blurring it in. I'll see how it looks. Let's have a look. There we go. You may notice I still haven't invested in a decent chair. I'm squeaking away like a mouse. I'm just rocking back and forth on this old thing. But I have recently invested in a bed base, which is kind of cool. So I'm super happy about that. And I wasn't actually expecting the packaging to be the parcel to be as big as it is. It was like bigger than I was, so it was like a super hard thing to move. But at the same time, I'm excited to get that out of the way. So I'm in the process of buying all these like weird home accessories, for want of a better word. So I've recently bought a washing machine, and I'm now in the process of trying to find a fridge, which I didn't think would be so complicated, but turns out it is. And what else am I doing actually? What else am I trying to find? What am I trying to source? There's one more thing. Oh, I can't think of it. A mattress, that's right, yeah. And it's taken me by surprise just how expensive mattresses are. Like, because I've always sort of just had them handed down by the family, right? So now I'm in this mindset where I feel like I should buy my own mattress. And there's all these really cool options online. Then there's these weird options which are like $10,000, and I'm like, what? Why? What defines? What on earth does a mattress have at $10,000 that it doesn't have at $1,000? That's something I don't understand. That kind of sounds like that Sean Connery quote from Entrapment. What can you do with $9 billion that you can't do with one? Oh man, that's a weird film. I haven't watched that in years. I should give it a watch. Okay, what have we got here? How's this looking? I feel like it needs a little bit more red. Push it more towards that red. I'm now going to... Yeah, there we go. That color works well. Not too red, but just maybe sort of like a darker orange. Like that. And then maybe I can reserve my red colors for what's going to happen on the interior here. I think that's kind of exciting. So I'm actually thinking, I've sort of got this weird duality happening with this sketch. So I've kind of got your more sort of sharper block colors on the side here. And I've got my more organic kind of colors on this side. And so there's a part of this bag, it's actually the underneath, and it kind of wraps around the sides if I go back here. So the backpack, yeah, it's got this bottom frame, this bottom panel. So that's actually the underneath of the bag. And then it sort of extends, and so the bottom bag is here, and it's the bottom part of the bag, and then it extends like that. So these two parts here are actually on the side. So I was actually thinking just then, maybe I should have this part being kind of orange and this part being kind of green to kind of match with that sort of duality that I'm creating. And then what I do for the front pocket is anyone's guess. Who knows there? I'm thinking for the top and the front pocket flap, that's just going to be a block color because I don't want to add too much to it. But yeah, we'll soon see. But yeah, I'm kind of liking the idea of having this this backpack which is sort of split in green and orange. That's a kind of cool thought to me. You know what? I'm liking the idea. Let's go over to this. Yeah, I like to have white overlays when I'm doing colorful stuff here. Let's do that. So I'm gonna go for, I think I'm trying to decide if I want a blue color or maybe like a purplish kind of color for this sort of weird. I'm sort of thinking, I'm calling it a fin, but I don't know what it is, so we'll soon find out. Maybe I want to have it somewhere in between purple and blue, like that. That might be kind of cool. Let's go to a new layer. We'll try adding it in. Only problem is that it kind of blends with this sort of vine thing a little bit, so I might try and choose a different color, I think. We'll find out. There we go. So don't worry too much that I'm coloring over this orange thing, because I'll just rearrange the layers so it's in the right area. But should be okay. Maybe blue. Maybe blue's a good color. Struggling with this choice, actually. Let me know what you think it should be. I'm thinking like a blue color that's a little bit brighter than that. Maybe a bit more saturated. And I'll pop it behind the actual orange section there, like that. Oh, I don't know. Maybe what I'll do, I'll add some depth to this shape, because maybe then it'll look a bit better. and it'll help me decide what I'm doing. If I go to, yeah, I've already got that in alpha lock, that's good. Let's try adding some depth. Just like that. Then we'll get our smudge tool and we'll just blur it in. And I'm thinking actually what I want to do is I want to have like a really opposing red. That's sort of a light red. Just that kind of sits over the top like that. There we go. Yeah, I always love adding reds and blues. There's something really something really kind of satisfying about those two colors together. I don't know what it is, but I really like it. I might add a little bit of a darker blue on this section here. Just I feel like it needs a bit more drama, a bit more contrast in a sense. Like that. Yeah, there we go. And I've actually put that in the wrong layer. Let's do that again. Okay, wonderful. Let's go over here. Let's add that. Wonderful. And we'll smudge that in. Great, there we go. Cool. Now I better raise this little bit there. There we go. And what I might do, I'll get a darker red color and I'll create a bit of depth on this sort of wraparound thing. There we go. Awesome. Not too much, but just enough to make it look a little 3D. Wonderful, cool. So I should probably also make a little bit of a shadow underneath this thing. So if I go back to my blue here, I'll just sort of paint it in like that. And I'll go a little bit darker there. And I'll kind of blend it in to the point where I feel like it kind of works. Very good, cool. Yeah, I'm kind of liking this. I think it's alright. I think it's going somewhere. I might add a little bit of a lighter tone to this little... I'm calling it a shark fin. You know, that's what I'm calling it. That's its terminology for now. And yeah, there we go. Cool. And I'm thinking for the background, what I'll do is I'll have like a really nice, sort of like a rich purple, but maybe not rich, maybe desaturated actually. Yeah, desaturated enough so that the vine will sort of stick out from it. I think that's kind of cool. So what we'll do is we'll add another layer. I can't believe I've still got so many layers available. I'm not used to this. It's a pretty old iPad, but it's it's kicking along nicely. Why is that not drawing up? Maybe my pencil is running out of power. I'm not sure. We'll soon find out. But what we'll do, we'll add a bit more lightness here. So I'll go in like that. So I'm going to use a Gaussian blur technique or a Gaussian blur effect to get a nice gradient happening here. I might actually tilt that a little bit more towards the red. There we go. Keep that vibrance up. But I want to desaturate the red as well. I don't want it too vibrant. Okay, now let's see what that looks like when we apply a bit of Gaussian blur. Not great, so let's smudge it. Let's smudge that nicely in. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm liking this actually. I think that color scheme is quite nice. We won't be able to see it on the final product sadly until a couple of streams later actually, I've just realized, because yeah, it won't look cool until we get all the panels in there. But at the same time, I'm excited to see it come together actually. I think it's going to be kind of fun. There's a few little bits here that I'll polish up. But yeah, let's just quickly blur that in. So I'm thinking of doing this as, I don't know, I'm wondering if I should just keep doing the bag until I finish it, or if I should maybe do the bag 1 week and then maybe do something else the next week. Sort of like intermittently do it. I'm not quite sure yet, but I don't know. Let me know what you think. Either in the chat, or if you want, you can even actually let me know in a YouTube comment. Because all of these videos go straight to YouTube as well, so if you miss anything, you can actually watch it there. In fact, I should show you that. So on my website, I've made a little bit more streamlined for finding my content. So basically, yeah, through my website, mlloydartist.com, not only can you find this particular Twitch channel, but you can also find my YouTube channel. So everything that I record on Twitch goes straight to YouTube as well. So you can kind of catch up if you want to see other sketches. There's actually a few other streams I did a little while back actually, that I'm actually going to use the content from those, and I'm going to do a giveaway. So a bunch of free wallpapers that people will be able to download for free. So that's a bit of fun. So you're welcome to check that out. But yeah, also on my website, you'll actually be able to find a link to my Skillshare course. So yeah, if you scan that little QR code, I basically teach you how to use Procreate on your iPad through a fun project that I call augmented reality sketches. You can see those on my Instagram actually. So they're kind of like drawings over photos, which is kind of fun. So you're welcome to check that out. But yeah, you can find everything that I do on mlloydartist.com, including some of the products that I sell, so don't be afraid to check those out as well. But going back to my sketch, let's quickly get a bit more depth into these little tube things, like that. Very cool. So I'm adding a bit more of that sort of darker orange, darker sort of red color just on the bottom of these little tubes. What I'll do, I'll go to a much darker red and I'll sort of put that on the interior over here. But we're sort of coming to the end of the stream, so what I'll probably do, I'll probably finish this up, touch it up off stream, but I think I've done pretty well in the sense that I've kind of given you an idea of what this will look like. A good idea. This is pretty much what it's going to be. But yeah, oh, I can't wait to see like what the whole backpack looks like as a whole. But yeah, the funny thing is with this sketch, the only bits you're really going to see, if I bring I'll bring the template over, you're probably not only going to see the sort of main central part at the top there. So if I go to maybe multiply, there you go. So yeah, you'll see mainly this bit. Everything here will be completely obscured. And I think we'd be lucky if we're going to see these blocks in this sort of orange part there. But yeah, I hope to have the sort of sides and the bottom kind of match the orange and the green parts. So that's kind of something I'm looking forward to. That's going to be a bit of a challenge, I think, sort of making it line up. Maybe I don't want it to line up, I'm not sure. But that's going to be super fun. But yeah, I'm going to end it there. I thank you everyone for joining. You're welcome to hang around if you haven't got your art fix. I generally raid someone after my stream, so I'd love to raid another promising artist on Twitch. See if I can find someone relatively small to sort of raid. That'll be kind of cool. But for right now, that's me. I'll be streaming every Wednesday at this point. So every Wednesday night, that's Melbourne time at 9 o'clock. And yeah, you can actually find everything I do on my website, so check that out. But it's been a pleasure. I look forward to continuing this stream in future. Thanks to all those who are watching, those lurking, and those who chatted. It's really a privilege to have you here. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, all the bots who have tuned in live, and thanks to those watching the recorded replay on YouTube. If you'd like to see more and you haven't already, consider following me on all my channels. I'm most active on Instagram and Twitch, so come say hello. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you again in the next stream. Ciao!